Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We're talking about the active tropics here as we have Hurricane Lee that continues to spin across the western Atlantic. That is heading northbound, as we also have Hurricane Margot that continues to spin across the North Atlantic. This will be a fish storm likely. And then we have another area we're watching here we'll get to in the video that we do have to watch as it moves toward the Caribbean and the western Atlantic over the next 7 to 10 days. So looking at those three areas of interest, we have Hurricane Lee, we have Hurricane Margot, and that 70% chance of development that will be starting to move towards portions of the western Atlantic or the Caribbean over the next couple of weeks. So we're going to continue to monitor these systems, and rightfully so. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below to get daily updates on this channel, as we do cover the hurricane season out here. We do cover weather across all of North America. We do not leave anybody out here on this channel, so make sure you do subscribe down below. And let's get into the forecast here. We have Hurricane Lee, that's 115 mile per hour hurricane right now, moving to the west northwest at 6 miles per hour. It's going to continue to maintain major hurricane status through tomorrow and then start to turn northbound as we go into Wednesday night. And this is heading up towards portions of Maine and possibly even towards Nova Scotia as we go in toward the upcoming weekend. And just looking here at the pressure and the wind field, this is the winds at the surface. This is 10 meters up, and you can see 959 millibar low by Friday. This is at the end of the week, and you can see some of the outer bands getting very close there toward New Jersey and the eastern Carolinas, but you can see the strongest and the tropical storm force winds and hurricane force winds will be well off the coast there to the east on Friday. And then as we go into Saturday, we have a 961 millibar low up here, very close to Cape Cod and getting closer to southwestern Nova Scotia. And this will be causing a lot of impacts for portions of the northeast coast and also into Nova Scotia this upcoming weekend. You can see some of those tropical storm force winds and even hurricane force winds getting closer there toward the coastal New England region and also towards Nova Scotia. Looking at the impacts here as well, we have to worry about the waves. So on Friday, we could be seeing some stronger waves crashing ashore here to North Carolina, Maryland, into portions there of Delaware, New Jersey. We could be seeing waves in the yellows and oranges here to the key to the right. Yeah, that's about 10 to 15 foot waves, so that's definitely formidable for portions of the East Coast here. By the time we get to Saturday, with the low pressure center actually trending further to the west, we are actually keeping an eye on some of these waves crashing ashore Cape Cod, crashing ashore up here towards portions of Maine and even Nova Scotia. Could be approaching 25, even 30 foot waves in some areas, not too far off the coast there of the Northeast and into portions of Nova Scotia. So that will be on Saturday. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that storm for sure. Then we have the other area of investigation that just came off of the coast of Africa here. This is a loosely organized tropical wave. It's going to be moving to the north and west over the next 7 to 10 days. We have plenty of time to watch this, but it already does have a tag of 70% chance probability from the National Hurricane Center to develop over the next couple of weeks here. Looking at the ensemble members from the European guidance, you can see by this upcoming weekend on Saturday, September 16th, we're starting to see some clustering up again over the very open waters of the North Atlantic, and this is going to be pressing west-northwest bound into early next week, and you can see it could be as far south as where Lee was or well to the north and away from any source of land besides Bermuda. So we're going to continue to watch us down here in the Caribbean and up toward Bermuda for the next storm, and if this does get named, it would become named Nigel, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. For the weather closer to home here today, we are seeing high pressure with sunshine working in across the north central United States. That cold front, and this is a fall front, folks. It's going to be moving southeast through the day today, bringing some drought relief in the form of showers and thunderstorms, but also that fall air mass too behind the cold front as we go through today. And then through Thursday, that cold front will reach the east coast and the southeast here all the way down into the Rio Grande Valley. We are going to set up some active weather with some heavier rainfall and some isolated strong to severe storms across Oklahoma into North Texas by later on in the week on Thursday. But this is good news because we need the rainfall down here across portions of the southern plains as the drought conditions continue to worsen. So, looking at the rainfall amounts, this is additional rainfall accumulation on top of what we've already seen here early this week. This takes you through Friday, September 15th. We're seeing widespread rainfall amounts from Colorado down into New Mexico here, southwestern Kansas through much of southwestern Oklahoma, the panhandle of Texas, getting into north central Texas here. And we are seeing widespread rainfall amounts of 1 to 3 inches. And if we zoom this in a little bit further, some specific cities in here. Amarillo around an inch of rain there, around an inch or two of rain in Wichita Falls. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, possibly in excess of 2 inches there. And then even into the Abilene region, into Texas, we could be seeing up to around 3 inches of rain additional on top of what we've already seen through Friday. And over the next few days, getting through mid to late week, we have to be watching out for a flash flood risk in the yellow here. That's a slight risk for flash flooding from the Weather Prediction Center. On Wednesday into Thursday, we'll watch it across northeastern New Mexico into the Texas Panhandle and northwest Texas. This will be generally to the west of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And then as we go into Thursday and into Friday, this starts to migrate further off to the east, so we'll be watching you near Lawton, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, getting into the Wichita Falls region, Denton, Texas, and down toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and maybe as far south as Waco for that slight risk for flash flooding later on into the week. And this is good news, though, even though we have a flash flooding risk. I know we don't want flash flooding, but we definitely need the rainfall down here. We see widespread, severe, extreme, and exceptional drought building, and it's becoming more widespread by the day down here. So any rainfall we get, whether it's sprinkles, whether it's a heavy downpour, we desperately need it as we go forward. So this is some good news on the docket for sure. Looking at the temperature side of things, these are your temperature anomalies today, and look at where all the blues are. East of the Rockies, much of us behind the cold front are a good 5 to 15 degrees below average as we go through today, and then as we go through late week, much of the lower 48 will be feeling the effects of that fall front with temperatures, again, 5 to 15 degrees below normal for this time of year for the middle of September by the time we get to Thursday, September 14th. So looking at the afternoon highs, this afternoon, it's cooler up to the north. Yeah, we're only into the upper 50s, folks, across portions of the northern Minnesota region, including the Arrowhead up here of Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and northern lower Michigan as well. Very cool, crisp, and fall weather-like temperatures up there today. Further to the south, it's still very pleasant. Temperatures in the middle and upper 70s, an 80-degree high here and there. That's very much a nice weather pattern here for this afternoon. Ahead of the front, though, the heat is still there, so the Rio Grande Valley along the Gulf Coast and the southeast will still be seeing the heat. Temperatures into the 90s. Waking up Wednesday morning, folks, yeah, look at these cool temperatures waking up for work or school on Wednesday morning. Upper 40s, widespread 50s, 60s down here across the south, and I see an area up here into the upper Midwest that could actually see their first, if not, widespread frost across these areas going into Wednesday morning. I see a couple areas that could get close to a hard freeze with 33, 34 degree temperatures Fahrenheit. So that is a northern Wisconsin, northeastern Minnesota, into the western UP of Michigan. So we'll be keeping an eye on you folks for a possible widespread frost and freeze as we go into your Wednesday morning. Otherwise, we'll rebound back into the 60s up there on Wednesday. Very pleasant conditions. We're down to 83 for the high as we go into Wednesday afternoon in Dallas, 77 in Oklahoma City, and 80 in Memphis as well. Very beautiful weather for Wednesday, and we just carry that over to Thursday as well. Much of the country is seeing pleasant fall-like temperatures later on this week. Just to preview the weekend for you and show you the precipitation and temperatures, first we look at the precipitation here. We do have a tropical storm or hurricane that will be making landfall somewhere up here toward New England or Nova Scotia, so we'll be seeing some heavier rainfall, some strong winds, and some wave impacts across those areas, so unsettled weather there. Maybe some thunderstorm activity across portions of Texas Hill Country eastward through the Dixie Alley region, but most of us should remain dry as a dominating high-pressure system from Canada drops in across the Rockies and the upper Midwest for Saturday. Beautiful temperatures Saturday afternoon. It will extend into the weekend with highs in the 70s for most areas. Can't complain about this. Even a 92 down there into Houston, that's still much cooler than we've seen recently. And then extrapolating that into Sunday, We'll see more active weather across the East Coast here, on and off chances for showers and storms from Maine down to Florida here and everywhere in between. But other than that, West Coast, the middle of the country and the Great Plains, the Midwest, most of the Ohio Valley should remain dry as we go through the day on Sunday. And again, you can't complain about these temperatures, folks. Lots of great air to go around, fall-like temperatures extending into your Sunday afternoon as well. Looking at the long-range temperature pattern here, going into the third week in September. This takes us through next week, September 19th through the 25th. Generally above average temperatures, but remember, we are in September now and approaching late September. So that means, when we see above average temperatures, that doesn't mean we're going to see 100 plus degree highs. It just means that whatever your normal temperature is for this time of year, for September 19th through the 25th, we're just going to be a handful of degrees ahead of that for most days as we go through that time frame. And we could also see some cooler days at times, but just averaging those areas out, we're going to be seeing above average temperatures there. And then looking at drier weather across the Great Lakes down through the Ohio Valley into the deep south as we go through the long-term period, with wetter conditions with a more activated low pressure system across the west coast and an activated subtropical jet that will bring in some Pacific moisture across the west coast. That could be diving back into the central and southern Great Plains during that time frame. Very active in Alaska as well, so well above average precipitation in Alaska, especially southeastern Alaska during that time frame. Make sure to like the video today. If you liked today's content, make sure to like the video. I do really appreciate it. It does help to get all of this weather information out to as many people as possible. And if you are looking forward to winter and you want to see what your weather forecast will be this upcoming winter, hit the description down below the video. The link for my winter forecast for 2023 and 2024 is in the description down below this video. Make sure to go watch it. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below on that, and also like the video. If you want to follow me on Twitter or X for additional weather forecast updates, I will be posting on there at HWeather420. That's also in the description down below the video. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week out there.